Hi, I'm Imogen. My pronouns are she, her. I'm 19 and I'm just finished my first year at uni studying history and politics. This is the second C session. C stands for Start Environmental Action Now, and I'll be talking about fast fashion today. So to begin with, I'm just going to introduce myself a little bit and get to know you all. So my name's Imogen. I'm on the steering group for the Youth Focus Northwest, and what I do on that group is I look after members of Youth Parliament and help them attend national events and put together national events that they can go to, as well as keeping them up to date with campaigns and aiding them on their journey to make a difference in this world as young people. It's a really fulfilling role and I'm loving it so far. As you can tell, I'm a little bit older than the majority of the people on this project, and that's just because of COVID-19. My term has been extended, so I am actually a grandma in Youth Focus Northwest, but it's very fun. I love seeing people go through the process of youth voice and youth projects and come out the other side a much more confident person. A bit about me, I'm 19, I study history and politics at university. I'm a really big fan of oat milk, not just because it's great for the environment, but because it's really, really tasty. And like a lot of people on this webinar, I'm a bit of a shopaholic, and that can be an issue, especially in regards to the environment nowadays. I have becoming a little bit more aware about the impact that my clothes have on the environment, and this session is going to educate you surrounding what those impacts can have. So today we're going to focus on what is fast fashion and how can we actually identify it, a few stats, facts and a bit of history on fast fashion, and then at the end we're going to look at how to ethically get rid of your clothes. This is just a very, very brief introduction to fast fashion, what it is and how we can make a difference as individuals, but obviously feel free to go away and do more research on this topic yourself. This webinar is part of S.E.A project, and this is run by Youth Focus Northwest, by young people, for young people. S.E.A stands for Start Environmental Action Now, and we have a series of webinars that aim to educate young people on the effects of climate change. There are a variety of different webinars ranging from sports and the environment to fast fashion to carbon literacy, so I really hope that you tune into other sessions to really get an overall picture of what you can do as an individual. So to start this session, what is fast fashion? Fast fashion is defined by Good and New as cheap, trendy clothing that are sample ideas from the catwalk in celebrity culture and turn them around at breakneck speed to get them on the racks. That was heavily paraphrased, but you get the general idea. They take ideas from Instagram, from TikTok, from catwalks, and they are put on the websites almost within a week. Zara can pilot an idea and have that item of clothing in stores within 15 days. So clearly a lot of stores use fast fashion because you can see it on trend items all the time. So how are you going to actually spot fast fashion in the stores? Well, I'm here to tell you exactly that. So if a store has thousands and thousands of items you couldn't possibly sift through in one sitting, it's probably a fast fashion brand. Think about S.E.A. When you go onto their website, every time you go on there is something new. Their unique selling point is that there are thousands of new items every single day. They're a fast fashion brand. If the items are cheap and low quality, that's a really big red flag. I think everyone knows this, but there is a reason why they are cheap and low quality, and it's because they've not been made very well. They've likely been made in sweatshops by underpaid workers, and that's why they're so cheap. If a brand uses labour outside of the UK for very cheap, they are also very likely a fast fashion brand. Not all fast fashion brands do this. For example, Boohoo and ASOS do have factories within the UK. However, I'm sure a lot of you will remember at the start of the pandemic, we found out that there was a factory in the Midlands where Boohoo weren't paying their staff even minimum wage, and they weren't even providing them with PPE during a pandemic. A lot of fast fashion brands also have a limited number of styles in stores and on websites. This idea was piloted by Zara. Basically, every time you go into that store, you don't know what you're going to find, and it encourages buyers to actually buy the clothes they see rather than and ahhing. I'm sure many of you have noticed if you go into Zara and then a few days later have to return something, the shop doesn't look like it did when you first bought that item, and that's because there's such a quick turnaround to encourage buyers to buy more clothes. So that's sort of how you can spot fast fashion. If you're really not sure about whether a brand is fast fashion or not, there's a really great website called Good On You. If you go onto that, you can actually type in the brand that you are thinking about shopping with, and it tells you all sorts of facts about their carbon emissions, their water emissions, whether they're doing their bit for the environment or not. It also explains a little bit about how they treat their workers, which I think is a really important thing to focus on, because I like to shop ethically, not just for the environment, but for the people making my clothes. On Good On You, there's also a really great section where it tells you different different brands that actually are doing their bit for the environment and can rank them on price so that actually you can shop ethically within your budget. I'm now going to move on to a few facts and stats about fast fashion, as well as a little bit of the history. So if we start with the history and do a little timeline of how we got to where we are today. So fast fashion started with the Industrial Revolution. Clothes were able to be made quicker, cheaper, and with machines rather than by hand. This meant that clothes could actually reach high retail prices,